and thank you for joining us today at the Beaufort Digital Corridor for a presentation by Gary Graham. Gary is here today to show us how to build a chatbot using chatbotbuilder.ai. And before we get started, I just have a few announcements. So I want to remind everyone that this is Beaufort Tech Week. We have a bunch of events lined up. We kicked off the week with the South Coast Cyber Summit. That was really exciting. Today we have our Lunch and Learn, of course. And then also tomorrow we have Tech Connect. If you guys haven't been to that, that's a network event we have monthly. That starts at 5:30 p.m. here at the corridor. And then our big event that we have is going to be Techstars Startup Week with Beaufort. That's on, that lasts from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you haven't got your tickets, make sure you go to techstarsbft.eventbrite.com and sign up for that. And without further ado, here is Gary.
Thank you very much, Angela. I really appreciate it. Welcome everybody that's here and welcome everybody online. Today we're going to build a chatbot. You're not allowed to read this unless it's in the voice of a certain blonde Disney princess. So, so you want to build a chatbot? Let's do it. All right. OpenAI. Everybody probably has heard about ChatGPT. Everybody, it's kind of like the thing that's on everybody's mind right now as far as AI is concerned. And when it comes down to it, OpenAI ChatGPT is a chatbot. It is a skin that was built on the internet for people to interact with the LLM that's run by OpenAI, right? So you have different options within ChatGPT. You can switch which LLM you want to use, whether it's 3.5 or 4.0, and soon it'll be 5. But it's really just a chatbot. It's kind of, at the end of the day, that's what it is here. And as a business owner, why would you want a chatbot? This is kind of like the base question whenever you run into somebody and they're like, what are we doing here? Why do I need a chatbot? I sell lumber, or I do car washes for a business. What's a chatbot going to do for me, right? So it's, a lot of people already have a chatbot on their website. It's just a dumb chatbot. It's a chatbot that's been pre-programmed to take certain questions and be able to provide certain answers to certain questions, and it's hard-coded in. Right? So you can take your dumb chatbot and make it smart. Now it can interact with people. It can talk back and forth with them. You can't really, you can trick it, but it's harder and it's more conversational. It's less like hard dead ends. Digital expertise, right? So a virtual know-it-all. Say you have 1,000 bits and pieces in your business. You have parts and all kinds of models and all the stuff and all the specifications. And rather than download that to a person, you can have a virtual entity that knows all the things, right? And so it kind of eliminates the need to train people so hard, or they can train off the bot. They can use it there as a source of truth to be able to get smarter over time, right? Tier 1 social media management. So you can interact with you can set one of these things up and configure it with your social accounts to be able to respond to comments, to be able to post for you, to be able to direct people into the DMs and be able to start qualifying your leads, which is some of this stuff down here. Telephone management. You can hook one up to a Twilio account and you can connect it so that people calling in, you can take somebody who doesn't have to answer the phone anymore. Maybe they're spending half of their day answering silly questions that could be answered by a robot, but I don't need to do this. I have work that I need to do. And so maybe it's one of those situations where you can help make somebody's day easier. Active lead gathering, so you can put this stuff out on social media, and I think of it like fishing, right? You have lots of different poles in the water. You go out and you go out fishing, and you have 6 different poles, and you're putting them all in the water with bait on each one, and you're waiting for one to ding, right? And so this is an automated sort of a way to do that, where you've got all these different bots out there in the world interacting with different groups of people in different ways that each one knows how, and it's gathering leads for you and encouraging them to give me your name and your email address, and we'll have somebody get back in touch with you just as quick as we can. And those things all stack up in a queue so that when you walk in the next morning, you got people to call. You got people who have already expressed their interest. Right? And you can qualify some of those leads because you're talking to those people on the DMs, right? And so you can ask them, what neighborhood do you live in? How big is your house? What kind of a home are you looking to buy? Do you want one on the water? Do you want one? And that way, when you get in and you're looking at your queue of leads that you've generated for the next morning, you know who to call back first, right? You know who's going to be worth the most amount of your time that when they're coming in. Interactive product packaging. So this is an interesting one. How about you get your bag of chips and it's got a QR code on that bag of chips. That QR code leads you to Ruffle, the interactive AI chatbot for Ruffles, who's able to talk to you and enter you in a contest to win, whatever, and at the same time figure out what your favorite brand of chips, what your favorite flavor of chips is, why, all these things, and now it knows you as a customer, and you're in the queue of people that's interacted with the bot. So when we're sending out newsletters later, and we're sending out full flavored chip, advertisement for a new product that we're launching, we know to send it to you because you like full flavored chips, or we know to send it to you because you like plain chips, or you're looking for a healthy option, and so we know how to target some of that stuff later on. New revenue stream. So it's a conversational way to sell products virtually. You're out there, you've got these bots that are in the field, they're interacting with people. There's buttons in there that you can put your product line and you can put your stuff in there and they could be buying it right there without ever having to find you on the internet, click through your website, find your products, read the stuff. They've already had something that's been talking to them and suggesting stuff that it knows that they like. Staying ahead of the competition. I think the one thing that everybody's agreeing on at this point in time is that this is the beginning, right? This is the start of the revolution of all the things that are going to be happening. So we're all here because we're interested in what's going on. You are watching because we care, right? So we're at the front of this stuff and it's only going to get bigger and better from here. So as a business owner, you get in now, you get yourself positioned correctly, you kind of have some idea of what's going on. As things are growing, as these platforms get more advanced, you're going to be positioned in a way to grow with it rather than trying to get in on the third floor, right? It's going to be harder to integrate all this stuff into everything that you've got going on if it's too far along. What we're using today is called Chatbot Builder AI. I want to say thanks to the guy that's standing back there, Ryan Baggett. He is the chatbot king, as far as I'm concerned. He knows what's going on. He's been working with this stuff. We both have. He lives down the street from me, and we've been on the back porch building this kind of thing that's going on, thinking about it, brainstorming out what's going on, what features might be useful. So I want to keep everybody informed that this is a locally sourced digital product here. This is worldwide, many different countries. I don't even know how many countries right now, but this is happening out of Beaufort County, right? So this is a real thing. That's old animation. Sorry, guys. When you're using these things, there's all these different LLMs that are out there right now. We have GPT 3.5, which honestly is still my favorite. It's the fastest. It generates the text the quickest, and it responds really fast. Especially in these chatbots, when you've got them sort of programmed to know what they need to know. You don't really need to tap into the LLM part so much. It's more just conversational, recognizing the words and being able to respond back. GPT-4 is much smarter. It's got a bigger, fatter database, and you can really kind of ask it some things that and be more confident on it than you could with 3.5. Gemini's just been released. Some public to the news, to the fanfare, but some of that stuff is the old Britney Spears way of publicizing yourself. Any publicity is good publicity, and so everybody's talking about it. And it's good. It responds quick. It responds back with thoughtful answers. When you start asking chatbots their opinions, you never know what you're going to get, right? It's a chatbot. Claude 3 is a brand new one that's just been released here in the last couple of weeks that also is one of my, it's hard because I have so many favorites. But I've always liked Claude. When I was writing blog, it gave me back good copy. It gave me back human feeling copy. So for what it's worth, that's the different LLMs that are out there. And you can connect to all four of these in Chatbot Builder AI. So what we're going to be doing here is building chatbots. So I would hope that anybody that's out there that's in the world, let's build a chatbot, because I've got you a free code. You get 30 days free. You can click the QR code. We can build a bot right now, and I can show you how. And please feel free to click that QR code. I've got it up here. We can keep it up there for a second. So when you click the account, you can use a Google account to log in. That's kind of the easiest experience, and you'll have a free 30-day trial, and it's $49.99 a month after that. So it's not cheap. It's not something that, it's not something that it's so cheap you don't care about, but it's definitely affordable for every single business owner out there to get, especially once you start maximizing how you're using it. Once you realize that, oh, this thing can connect to my social media and I can manage my social comments. Once you've got it on your website and you can hook it up to the phone and you can really do some of this cool stuff with it. The cost is negligible. Once you get in there, you can select web chat and you can name your bot. So I'm going to click out of here and do the same thing right here with you. So this is what it'll look like once you get into the platform. And you can click web chat. We can name it. We're going to call it the BDC AI Assistant. All right. So this is kind of inside the platform on this section right here will make more sense once we have interactions and there are actually things going on with the bot to track, right? Inbox is really cool as well because this is where you'll be able to see all the people that are interacting with your bot. You'll be able to see what they said and how they talked and what kind of a conversation they had. Later on, once you get a little bit more advanced, now I want to throw this out here once at the beginning. This is a bit of a rabbit hole, right? What we're going to be doing here is I'm going to show you the easiest way to build a chat bot and have one up for your business like this, right? The deeper you go, the more things you want to start doing. There's learning to do, and there's things that you have to figure out, and you have to connect them correctly in order to make it work. I don't want to make everything seem like it's just always going to be super easy. You do have to sort of know what you're doing, and that's where the bot builders come in. That's where the people that are out there that want to do this stuff digitally, these are the new careers that are coming. They're talking about AI is coming to take your jobs. AI is coming to create your jobs, right? So there's opportunities out there to use this stuff and actually make money with it from a building side as well. Anyway, back to what we got going on. I'm going to go over here to settings real quick and show you. So these are the different accounts that you can sort of connect to, that you can make this thing available on the different accounts that you've got going on. So you can have it manage your Facebook, you can have it manage your Messenger, your Instagram. You can send SMS text messages. Some of this stuff requires an account that you might need to create elsewhere, like a Twilio account that's going to generate a virtual phone number that's going to allow you to interact with phone and audio, or you need to have a Telegram account in order to connect it to a Telegram. So right now we are going to go to Web Chatbot and we're going to manage. We're going to call it okay. So here we are. We've got BDC AI Assistant. The welcome message is going to be welcome message. Default template. There's your brand color. Okay, we're going to save it. Now we can click that line. Right. Yes, and then we're going to go back there. That's once we're ready to look at everything, we can do that. Yeah, and then we got Auto GPT is turned on right here. So this is going to be, you're going to use this when you've got one specific reason to be using the bot. Like for instance, you're in the beginning stages, you've got your bot set up, it's deployed on your website, and it's kind of doing one thing. Once you start getting into some of the more intricate, we've got a phone bot set up, or we've got a specific bot that's designed to interact with people from a certain audience set, or maybe it's got some different instructions built into it. You would build that into the flows section up here, with sort of some more detailed things that you have going on. But for the purposes of what we've got going on here today, we are going to use that, okay? So this is where we'll configure what we call the prompt. This is the kind of the word that everybody's loving to use right now, the prompt engineers and whatever. We're going to get to put on our prompt engineer hat real quick. And I'm going to click back over to the presentation real fast because this is sort of, this is where the magic happens a little bit. All right, so prompt formatting. I'm going to take a prompt right now, and we're going to, I like to use a little bit of structure. Everybody's got their favorite little structures that they like to use, but this is the one that I like. I feel like it kind of gets the thought across best to me. So goal, request, action, detail, example. What are you? Who are you intending to be right now? What can you expect users to ask of you? What should you expect to be doing? And then here's a database of information, and then here's some example user interactions. This is another one that I want you to take a picture of. I wish I had a way to get it to you easier, but might just want to save this slide and like bookmark it. This, everybody's got their, for lack of a better term, crappy prompt, right? You're sitting down in front of ChatGPT, you're a novice user, you don't really know what you're doing the best that you can, and you've written the instructions the best way that you can figure out how. This is what you put into ChatGPT before you put in your crappy prompt. And it will take your crappy prompt and turn it into an awesome prompt, right? So it's going to reformat everything, and it's going to state it in the grade format, and you can make your stuff better. So this is the prompt that we're going to use to control Bo, the Buford Digital Corridor bot. Okay, you're going to act as Bo for Buford Digital Corridor. You're going to be positive and helpful with a deep understanding of all things digital and South Carolina Low Country. You're always going to inquire with the user to find out what city they live in. Your personality is similar to Dennis the Menace. So I was thinking of kind of an upbeat sort of a, hi, how are you today? Kind of some sort of a personality like that. You can substitute that out with whatever you want to. If you wanted it to be Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, or if you wanted it to be whatever speaks about your business, you can have it be that. If you wanted it to be Steve Jobs, you can have it be Steve Jobs. Now, it's only going to sound like Steve Jobs if you have a voice clone set up and you're doing an audio sort of a bot. If it's just a text situation, it's going to sound authoritative and knowledgeable and eloquent in the way that it speaks. So you can think of it from less of a sound perspective and more of like a speech tone and a speech pattern, right? You can expect that users are going to interact with you and ask you questions about BDC and what's going on, right? We're going to answer questions to the best of our ability based on the knowledge base in an effort to promote BDC. I want to stop real quick. You'll notice that the text is in different colors up here. The white stuff is stuff that would apply to anyone's bot, and you would just need to substitute out the blue stuff for your own personal business. So you can change the name, change the business name. Maybe you want it to be authoritative and knowledgeable instead of positive and helpful. Maybe you want it to be helpful and knowledgeable. So there's all different kinds of words that you can use to control the bot and what you expect it to do. Bottom here is what we call fencing. You're going to avoid discussing politics, current events, celebrity gossip, controversy of any sort, writing poetry or song lyrics. That keeps everything on track, right? You might have people trying to interact with your bot and trying to play games and trying to maybe play gotcha, maybe trying to get your bot to say something that's going to hurt you in the long run or try to hurt your reputation. This is kind of how we keep everything on track. And that and one of these other examples here in the end. I'll show you in a second. Then on the second side, while I'm doing this, here we're just going to exit back. Okay, I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to put this into my bot real fast while I'm thinking about it. Okay, let's get back to the class. So on this side, everything that Bo knows about Buford Digital Corridor, and then insert your website data here. That'll make sense in just a second. And here's a list of past and current coming up events.